In this chapter, Dr. Shepard visits Hercule Poirot for an evening debriefing. Over hot chocolate, the detective meticulously lays out his current understanding of the case, revealing his findings from the summer house and offering a surprising conclusion about the prime suspect.
That evening, at Poirot's request, I went over to his house after dinner. He greeted me hospitably and was engaged in brewing hot chocolate, a favorite beverage of his, I discovered.
I trust your sister is well? A most interesting woman.
I'm afraid you've been giving her a swelled head. You got all the local gossip from her anyway.
And a great deal of valuable information. But why not have told me the truth yourself, my friend? In a place like this, all Ralph Peyton's doings were bound to be known.
What about this interest of yours in my patients?
Twinkling. Only one of them, Doctor. Only one of them. I find Miss Russell a study of the most interesting.
Do you agree with my sister that there is something fishy about her?
Les femmes, they are marvelous. They invent haphazard, and by miracle, they are right. They observe subconsciously 1,000 little details, and they call the result intuition. Me, I am very skilled in psychology. I know these things.
I wish you'd tell me what you really think of it all.
You wish that? So, I give you then a little lecture. The first thing is to get a clear history of what happened that evening, always bearing in mind that the person who speaks may be lying.
Rather a suspicious attitude.
But necessary. First, you leave at 10 minutes to 9. Parker confirms this. At 9 o'clock, you run into the mysterious stranger. We know he is real because Miss Gannett's maid also met him. He had a drink at the Three Boars, and the barmaid says he spoke with an American accent. Did you notice this?
Yes, I think so, but a very slight one.
Précisément. And there is also this, which I picked up in the summer house.
He held out the little goose quill.
Yes, heroin snow. Drug takers carry it like this and sniff it up the nose. Another proof the man came from Canada or the States.
What first attracted you to that summer house?
The inspector assumed the path was a shortcut to the house, but I realized it would also be taken by anyone using the summer house as a rendezvous. I searched it, and I found 2 clues, the quill and the scrap of starched cambric.
What about the parlor maid's story of her dismissal? Does it take half an hour to dismiss a servant?
To me, it grows clearer. But tell me now your own ideas and theories.
I drew a piece of paper from my pocket. I just scribbled down a few suggestions.
But excellent. You have method. Let us hear them.
Clearing his throat, slightly embarrassed. Point 1. Mr. Ackroyd was heard talking to someone at 9:30. Point 2. Ralph Patton's shoe prints show he must have come through the window. Point 3. Ackroyd was nervous and would only have admitted someone he knew. Point 4. The person was asking for money, and we know Ralph was in a scrape. These points show that the person with Ackroyd was Ralph. But since Ackroyd was alive at 9:45, Ralph didn't kill him. He left the window open. Afterwards, the American stranger came in that way and murdered him. He may have been in league with Parker, who was the blackmailer.
It is a theory that, decidedly, you have cells of a kind, but it leaves a good deal unaccounted for.
Such as?
The telephone call, the pushed-out chair, and the missing 40 pounds.
Perhaps Ackroyd gave the money to Ralph. He may have reconsidered his refusal.
That still leaves one thing unexplained. Why was Major Blunt so certain in his own mind that it was Raymond with Mr. Ackroyd at 9:30?
He explained that.
You think so? No matter. Tell me instead, why did Ralph Peyton disappear?
His nerves must have gone. Finding out his uncle was murdered so soon after their argument, well, he might get the wind-up and clear out, acting guilty when perfectly innocent.
Yes, that is true, but we must not lose sight of one thing.
Motive. Ralph inherits a great fortune.
That is one motive. Mais oui. Do you realize that there are 3 separate motives staring us in the face? First, the blackmail. Ralph Patton may have been the man who blackmailed Mrs. Ferrars. Second, he was in some scrape which he feared might get to his uncle's ears. And third, the inheritance you mention.
Dear me, the case does seem black against him.
Does it? That is where we disagree, you and I. 3 motives. It is almost too much. I am inclined to believe that, after all, Ralph Patton is innocent.